My name is Kevin Tai. I'm the marketing associate, and I'll be actually filling in for Bridget Flint, who usually hosts our webinars. But I'm also with the Mileage Quest team, and it's good to meet you all virtually. Today's session is about the current capabilities and future developments of the Mileage Quest app. So we're excited to offer you a first look into how we're providing innovative solutions that impact businesses of all sizes. Whether you're a small business or a larger organization, we increase your tax deductions and streamline compliance 1 mile at a time. So Rochelle, feel free to move on to the next slide. So before we dive in, first and foremost, we'd love to stay connected. So as you see on your screen, we have our LinkedIn handle along with a QR code that you can feel free to scan and follow us, where we regularly post important news and updates. So feel free to take a look and follow if you'd like to stay up to date. All right, and Rochelle, next slide. And now I'd like to give a warm welcome to our Director of Technology and Product Development, Luke Robinson. Besides being our IT guru, Luke is in charge of driving the development and advancement of Mileage Quest's core features. With his deep understanding of what makes a software product successful, his expertise plays a key role in making Mileage Quest a smarter, faster, and let's be honest, a much cooler app. So without further ado, Luke Robinson.
Thank you, Kevin. Have you guys ever heard of listen to a bio and then you're wondering who they're talking about? Yeah, sometimes I get that. All right, so let's get into it. Go ahead, Rochelle. Next slide. So what is Mileage Quest? It's an app designed to simplify mileage tracking for businesses and professionals, as Kevin just mentioned. It does all this by automatically tracking your trips and your mileage as you move about the day from location to location, from appointment to appointment. Then it takes all that data and it produces IRS compliant reporting to maximize your reimbursements and to reduce the administrative burden of not only tracking that, but also producing those documents. If you've ever had to submit stuff to accounting for reimbursement, you know how painful that can be. It's a smart tool for efficient mileage management. Next slide. So let's talk about some of our current functionality before we get into some of the cool new stuff we're looking at. So Mileage Quest at its core is about automatically tracking your mileage. In comparison to a manual process like an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe even worse, a piece of paper, Mileage Track operates in the background, kind of tracking your movement as you go from your appointment to appointment. For each of those trips, it can classify those things, those trips, into something like business or personal, commuting, charitable, or even medical. All these tie out to IRS regulations. One of the core features of the app that makes it so powerful is its calendar syncing. Mileage Quest becomes even more powerful when you sync that calendar because now it knows the names of your meeting, the location of that meeting, your start and end points. And it can automatically calculate that mileage for you, making the kind of administrative burden even less. Really, all you're doing is saying, giving a little descriptor and saying, yep, good, that's it, on to the next one. This reduces that kind of data entry manual burden even further. Now that we've collected all that information, this forms the base of our IRS compliant reports that then can be sent off to your manager or some other person in your accounting department if you're a larger organization, and even to your tax preparer. Once again, making the whole process as easy as we possibly can. Next slide. So because it always gets asked, yes, we are cross-platform. We are on iOS and Android. Our platform is built to accommodate whatever hardware you guys are running in your organizations. And when we release updates on the regular basis, you will notice occasional in-app notifications saying, hey, look at this new feature. Hey, are you guys aware of this kind of new update from the IRS? And of course, if you have problems, we are here to help. You can contact us via the in-app functionality, or online through our website. All right, Michelle? All righty. So now that we've kind of established who we are and where we are currently, let's talk about a little bit of the future, because that's what we're really interested in. So uh, in the very short term, we're focused on stability, performance, and quality. These are kind of just table stakes items that everybody kind of expects, but sometimes you have to reemphasize just how important it is. For my technical friends in the audience, the engineering teams are really focused on our DevOps and our CI/CD pipelines, which basically is automation and testing of code. What this means in frankly, a simple terms, it's a greater focus on detecting of defects or bugs, as we all like to call them, earlier in the development cycle and catching them at that early stage and releasing stable software to customers faster. These improvements are occurring across the development stack for MileageQuest, both the app in your pocket, the management dashboard on the web where you manage all these things, and the underlying cloud infrastructure that powers the whole thing that nobody ever sees. So what does all of this mean for you? Frankly, it means that the software is better, more stable, and feature-rich, and the updates are coming faster and more consistent to our customers and our partners. Next slide. All right. Now that we got the boring stuff out of the way that the engineers love and marketing hates, let's talk about new features coming. As we look out a little further into our future, here's some of the features that are on the product roadmap that we know our customers and our partners will be excited about. Starting with one of our core features, our calendar. The calendar is core to the app. Currently, you have to sign into the calendar on the native calendar app of your phone, whether it's the native calendar on iOS or Android, and then MileageQuest ties into that. As we look to the future, we're looking to directly integrate the MileageQuest app into those calendar providers like Google and Microsoft, making that whole sign-on process just a little bit smoother, just a little bit more stable, and a little bit more future-proof. And then, and this direct integration also checks a number of checkbox for my security friends in corporate America that are looking to say, how is this data accessed and stored on mobile devices? If you've ever dealt with the security team, you know that they're going to ask those questions, and so this helps check all those compliance boxes. And finally, when we look at our calendar, we're looking at those integrations and APIs for compatibility with closed systems. Some systems just don't talk to anybody else. They're kind of a sealed off little container. And so we're looking at APIs that can allow us to call in and for them to call out just to make the app a little bit better. So that's the goal for some of our seamless experience for the customers in terms of the calendar. When we look at our map and our routing, there's some things that we can do there. We're looking at improvements for route optimizations to create more efficient trips and planning as you move throughout your day. The next logical step, since you're already in the car, is being able to launch the kind of turn-by-turn navigation that we all use, whether it's in Google Maps or Apple Maps or any other map, so that you can say, oh, I'm going from client A to client B, chart my course, and it just opens the map and off we go. We know where you are, we know where you're going next, so this just seems like the logical step to make life easier for our customers. And while we're already in the car, let's look at how we can tie into your car's infotainment system. We would have to do that via something like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. At the end of the day, all these features really come down to one thing. We're just trying to make it a little bit easier for you to go from point A to point Z throughout your day, letting you focus on what you need to do and letting us focus on the busy work of tracking all the administrative details of your trip and the mileage reimbursement requirements that come along with that. For our dashboard, this is where all the details is located. Our online dashboard is where you manage your account. You manage all the users, your licenses, your reports. It's all the front-end administrative back-end stuff for the application. We have some improvements that we can do here too. We're looking at authentication and user management features on our roadmap. Functionality like a single sign-on or SSO, as you may know it. User provisioning, being able to call in from your directory structure of choice so that you don't have to manually enter people, and sign on with your social credentials that you may know, like Google or Microsoft or Facebook or any of those other things. These are all valuable additions to the platform that make it more secure, more user-friendly, and frankly, more appealing to a wider audience. And of course, when we have to talk to our security friends again, but all these are valuable features for many customers to meet security requirements or compliance requirements for cloud-based applications. And we have that well in hand on our roadmap moving forward. Finally, when we can't talk about reports without talking about customization. No two organizations are the same, and they're always asking the same thing. Can we customize this? Can we make this match our brand's identity via colors, logos, design? Can we add some more functionality to the export in terms of maybe additional things like the finance team may want in terms of reimbursements or stuff like that? So all of this functionality, we have tracking on our product roadmap so that we can make these reports more useful to you as our customers. All right, next slide. So let's talk about integrations and APIs. As we look even further out, we're looking to take a peek into those things that are requested, but we're not quite ready to give a whole bunch of really concrete details yet, but we know where we're going. And that's API integrations. API, for those that may not be familiar, stands for Application Programming Interface, which is basically a set of rules which two different applications need in order to communicate with one another. And when you put those two together, that's what we call an integration. Some of these integrations are going to look something along the lines of integrations with expense management platforms. It's a common request. We know it. It's a natural fit to simplify the process of tracking and updating and reporting all of this mileage expense into a company's central expense management platform. You're already there. You often have to submit all of your other expense reports, and this is just another one. So it's a natural fit for us to pipe that information into the platform that our customers are already using. Some of these APIs also include some things that our third parties are looking for. They're like, hey, we don't do expense tracking, we do something else, but we don't do mileage tracking, but can we pull that into our application? So some of these APIs are looking at things like trip and mileage tracking APIs, things like start stop, trip history, timestamps, categorizations, all this fun, exciting stuff that we're collecting, and some of our partners like, hey, can we pull that in, because that would make this relationship even stronger. Some expense and reimbursement APIs, things like expense rates, expense reporting and approval workflows. A lot of these things are common requests, and we know it, and these are things that we're looking to implement in the future. These are just a few of the APIs that we're working on, and of course, we welcome your input. No two integrations look the same, but these APIs fundamentally make the platform more valuable as a solution as we tie into other applications that our customers are using. And finally, we can't leave this section without talking about our friends at Salesforce. Mileage Quest is a Salesforce partner. We are progressing along our path to become an ISV, or an independent software vendor. And what this would enable us is to sell our application to existing Salesforce customers via their app exchange. Once again, just making our solution just a little bit more accessible and valuable to our partners and customers alike in the platforms where they already exist. All right, next slide. Speaking of partners, yes, we have a partner program. Yes, they're letting the tech guy actually talk about the sales stuff. No, they're not going to let me give you any kind of sales specifics. However, if you want the specifics, you can call my friend Ray. He's got his information down below. He has all kinds of information for you if you're interested in participating in our program. The QR code that you see on the screen there, that's for channel partners. We will be at Channel Partners this year in March in Las Vegas. The QR code is for a mixer we are hosting with our friends from ITS at Sugarcane. We'd love to have you come along. We'd love to meet you. If you're interested, please register for the event, and we hope to see you in Las Vegas. And just like that, I want to thank you for your attention, and I'll turn this kind of back over to Kevin so we can open up the last 15 minutes or so for some Q&A that you may have of me or anybody else on the team.
All right. Thanks, Luke, for the presentation, and thanks for sharing those insights with us. Yeah, as mentioned in the previous slide, if you are interested, we do have a partnership initiative, and do feel free to reach out to Ray, who is also in the call, for further details on how to get started. We'll also be sending an email follow-up with any mentioned resources, for any important links, and also a recording of today's webinar. But with that, let's open the floor for the Q&A session. So if you have a question or any feedback, feel free to turn on your mic and speak with us directly. Or if you prefer, you can use the chat to drop your thoughts below, and we'll answer as many questions as we can. Okay, so Ramona has her hands up. Yeah, Ramona. Yeah, do check if your mic is still muted in case. There we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm echoing in here. I have
Hey,
a
Ramona.
question. I have the app and we've been using it, just testing it out. But I noticed that the mileage for each destination is not coming up automatically. Do we have to manually put in the miles from one destination to the other?
No, the mileage should automatically be calculated as long as it has a start and end point. And if you're
Okay,
having
so
problems,
start-
then that would be something that we would want to work with you directly and get that solved for you.
Sounds like the start, maybe. Okay.
Hey guys, this
Yeah,
is
and
Ray.
just to. Hey, Ray.
Hey guys. All right, so I just wanted to give a little bit of a point of reference for the partners that are on this call, and just kind of give a real world example on, the one thing about MileageQuest is not that it is a great app for your customer base that could possibly use to help their employees keep track of their mileage, but for the partners on this call, this is also a great new style of discussion that you can have with your customers, right? A lot of the partners that are on this call are used to are the telecom partners or partners of different types, right? And sometimes you become a little repetitive on your opening conversation with your customers, but in this case, it gives you something a little bit different to speak about with the customer. It opens up a new branches of different conversations, and it kind of makes the customers look at you as an advisor, to where they're not just singling you out into one niche that you specialize in, right? Now they look at you as, okay, well, great, this guy can help me with accounting issues, right? With people not submitting their mileage reports on a timely manner, right? Now he's helping me with compliance with the IRS, right? Making sure that we're writing off everything where reporting is IRS approved, that is date stamped and calendar stamped. So, when your customers look at you, they don't look at you as an advisor in just one section, right? Now they look at you as you're able to handle a different section or a different need that the customer possibly might have, that they did not know that they could speak with you about. But because you have something like this in your arsenal, then now you can kind of open up the discussion to other discussions that could possibly come out from just having simple questions as this, or simple questions that will lead to MileageQuest. So hope that makes sense, guys. Just like what Luke said, I'm around. Some of you already know who I am, some of you don't. But if you saw my email address, please just shoot me an email. Like Luke said, we will be at Channel Partners. We could definitely meet you guys in person. And if there's any other questions during that time, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. And just like what Kevin said, he is going to be reaching out and sending an email to everybody attending. So very excited to speak to everybody one-on-one. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you didn't get the chance again to catch the info, Rochelle, if we could just roll back to the previous slide and just keep that up for a little bit longer, that way just the information is visible.
I'm so sorry. Quick question. Do you guys have like any you might have mentioned this, but do you have any marketing materials or a one-sheeter we can start using for prospecting?
Yes, absolutely. So great question. That's something that, yes, the marketing team, like I mean, myself, have been putting together. And it'll not only include the one pagers, but additional assets and editable documents that you could potentially also place your logo on top of as well.
Awesome. Is there also a list of integrations? I know that there's some expense report apps that are being used that it can link with that would be useful as well.
That's more of a tech question. Yeah, I'll hand that to you,
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
those are all on the future roadmap plan. I'm a little hesitant to be specific, but like we can have a conversation with Ray in terms of because some of it is just an allocation of engineering resources, and if we've got a bunch of people using Concur or something, then obviously Concur is towards the top of the list. So,
That's
but yeah,
exactly
yeah,
the one. Okay, great.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
But do you have a list of systems you've already integrated with?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. And then I don't know if I missed pricing. Do you have did we go over pricing?
We didn't, but that would be that's my friend Ray's baby.
No problem. So for the partners that are on this call, we're going to start with the rack rate of $19.99. Now, the good thing with us is there's no different levels in pricing and what features are available with pricing, right? Basically, it's one price for all. And then, of course, for discounting, we could definitely talk about that. But as of right now, I will give you the option to discount it up to 30% on your discretion. Anything below that, you have to get us involved for approval. But we're going to let you guys dictate your pricing, dictate the margin that you want to make, and then we can definitely go from there.
And that's per user per month?
That is correct. That is per user per month, correct. But see,
Um,
the biggest difference is that with other apps that are out there, they give you certain levels for the pricing that you pay, right? So the biggest difference is with us is that you pay one price, you get everything, you get the whole shebang. So there's no having to say, oh, you want to go ahead and have to be able to add 5 vehicles or 5 fleet vehicles to your app, so you could choose between the 5 vehicles that you have on deck. Well, guess what? That's an extra $3.95 per month, right? On with ours, it's just one flat fee, and you get all the features already available to you. Like for instance, I have a nonprofit that I'm working on. I found out that they were using Excel sheets to keep track of their mileage, and the office manager had to always hunt them down every 2 weeks to get their expense reports, right? So basically, of course, we're all salesmen here. You present it as 22, 23.95 per month, but hey, because you're a nonprofit, this is what I can do for you, right? So that's why we leave it open for you and give you at least a 30% variance, so that you guys can kind of work your magic and decide how much revenue share you want to make off of the sale, and also depending on how big the opportunity is. So this specific opportunity is going to be roughly about 25 users.
Is there a minimum of users?
No, one, two, whatever, you're good. And we'll let, if it's a couple hundred or more to 1,000, then we'll let Luke worry about that. But other than that, as of right now, we are good with whatever opportunity you want to throw at us.
Ray, this is Sean. How you doing, everybody? I am a co-founder with Samara, and I think it's would be some real value to have someone pull up the website and go to the pricing model for the general public. I want to share that with the group. So there we go, right there. So essentially, what we're offering currently is if you have 1 to 5 users, then you'd be considered individual. It's $19.95. So the more users you have, there's a declining subscription rate. So if you go 6 to 25, it's $11.95. If you go 26 to 50, it's $8.95, and 51 or more is $5.95. So whatever you work out with Ray in terms of how you want to package this up to, your channel customers, is fine with us. The channel system is a little different, but this is what's published on our website. So Ray's going to have to work with you to figure out how you want to present it. But again, it's a sliding scale for more users. So whomever asked that question about our rate, it's really not a flat rate. This is what we published and what Salesforce is working with us to use as well. And it's out there in the universe. So if you want to speak to that, Ray, I'll go ahead and let you speak to how you want to handle the channel partners piece.
Nope, not a problem. Like I said, for the partners on this call, we could have an offsite community conversation about it. But for myself, I want to make the availability for you partners to go ahead and dictate the pricing that you want to price it at, and then we'll back you up on that, right? So more to come on that portion, but we could definitely have a communication of it of that as well. No problem.
What's the commissioning structure look like?
So as of right now, if you are going to be a direct partner with us, it will be a 20% residual.
That's evergreen.
That is evergreen, correct. Now, if we're going to go through a TSB or a TSD distributor, then that's going to be a different conversation. But as of right now, direct agreements with partners will be at 20% with an evergreen clause.
As of right now, if we're direct, there are no minimums.
There are no minimums, correct. You could sell one user if you like, see how it goes. You could sell 500.
Deal.
And then, of course, for the partners on here, if the deal size is big enough and you need a certain type of integration, please bring that to us and let's see what we can do for you guys and make sure that we can do what we can to support you and, of course, your customers as well. If there is one of those one-off needs, as you can see, Lucas is nodding his head. So, like I said, I want to throw him and test him to the limits of what his expertise can do for this app, right? So, in his eyes, challenge accepted. Right. So, and guys, I just want to make you guys aware. So Sean is one of the co-founders that was speaking. If you look on your screen, Tamara is on the call as well. She is actually our CEO, and she's very, very well involved with the company. So if you do need some faces for any of your opportunities, like showing how tight niche we are as a company for your customers, please, invite us, get us on. If they need to see us on a demo, if you want to schedule a demo, we can definitely do that as well. So, whatever you guys need, we got your back. No problem.
Luke, quick question. Can you guys track, or do you track domicile, state, and show where the user is on a day-to-day basis? So you can say, hey, just like mileage, but for the tax purpose of where they domicile, say, okay, they've been in California for 180 days, and then they were in Texas for 20 days, and then they were in Colorado for this many days. So you can show that you're in your main state the longest.
Yeah, I think what we do record is your starting and ending destination as close to a USPS address as possible. And when we can't figure that out, we usually default to some longitude, latitude, or whatever the Google API spits it back out to us. So it's not quite, we are not quite at the fleet management level where you can kind of drill down and say like, hey, where's Luke right now? Let me ET phone home him and see he's not at the office. Well, surprise, surprise, right? But if you're recording these trips as you're going throughout the day, we do have those kind of start and end points as recorded by the GPS in the phone itself. So I'm not sure if that's going to meet those. If it's a compliance thing, we'd have to talk about that. But that's currently how we're tracking location currently.
Let me jump in there, Luke. So essentially, this is Sean again, we can create a customizable report if you wanted it by region that would take the address that the GPS coordinate has and break it down by state. So we can do a custom report that way. So, but that's not one of our standard reports, but we do have the ability to customize whatever reporting that management needs. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I kind of want to see if I've seen some other apps that do it where you can track your flights, track your mileage, track your, location, basically last location, how many days you were in that location kind of thing, or that state, that region. So you can show that you're following the IRS guidelines of living in the state you're supposed to be in for, over 50% of the year, so you get the right tax basis.
All right. Okay. So it looks like we're a little bit past time. Thank you for all of your questions. Again, if you have additional thoughts or feedback, feel free to reach out to Ray for further details. Or you can also contact us at Mileage Quest on our website. And sorry, it looks like Tamara has a comment.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to chime in and introduce our team. We are very grateful that Ray has invited the channel partners to this session and trust that the information provided was very insightful. But let me introduce our team. I am co-founder and CEO of Mileage Quest. As Sean mentioned, he is co-founder as well, and he serves as our CFO. We have Rochelle Henry, who is serving dual duties. She's on the IT side of things as well as customer success. I don't see Dadrian on the screen here, but he's another tech guru that we have on board with us, as well as serves on the customer support team. And as Kevin mentioned at the beginning, he is on our marketing team as a marketing associate. And I encourage everyone to join us every other Thursday for these information sessions. We have different speakers every other week, and they're sharing insightful information just as Luke did today. And of course, Luke is our Director of Technology and Product Development. So if ever you have any questions about the app, I know that Mark, you had several questions that pertain to a variety of things, but don't be hesitant. Certainly reach out to us and ask Ray, reach out to Ray as well. Ray is coming on board to focus on our sales department. So we're very pleased about that. But we want to make ourselves available to the channel partners in particular because we understand that there is a need out there amongst your clients and customers. So we want to be as much of a partner to you as you would be to us. So just wanted to say hello, and hopefully we'll see you in the next sessions to come.
Thanks, Tamara. Hey, can we get a license so we can test it and demo it and show it to our clients?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that would be the Rochelle and Dadrian team. They are in charge of onboarding, whether it's for demos. Luke is managing that department from the 30,000 level, of course, but you'll want to interface with Dadrian and Rochelle to get those trials on board and then to onboard any of your clients that want to sign up with us.
Yeah, Mark,
And when
and
they
let me
sign
know
up,
too.
how do they pay? Do they pay in app and they have to download it in the App Store, or like how do you invoice your clients?
Yeah, so for us, Mark, on the partner side, and correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, we're basically gonna do the fulfillment on the back end, put a credit card or an ACH on file, and then it'll just automatically be deducted every month. So on the partner side, Mark, we want to do more of a white glove treatment and kind of make sure that everybody logs in properly, all of the employees get handled properly, instead of just kind of let them free will it and download it themselves, and maybe their experience might not be exactly what they want, right? So for the customers of the partners level that you're going to be bringing aboard, we want to give them a different look and feel. So we advise that any opportunity you give us, let us handle the implementation so that they will get a great experience from the beginning, instead of them trying to just fiddle it with it by themselves. Did I miss anything on that, Tamara, Luke?
No, you hit that on the nail.
Perfect. So yes, to answer your question, Mark, credit card on file or ACH on file or checking account on file?
Correct.
And Mark, I will chime in with this. During onboarding, it really is a seamless transaction, if you will. We can do things either on site or we can do it remotely. So it is at the convenience of the subscribers. So whether you're here in Southern California or you are in New York, upstate New York, where my sister and her family are located, it can be done with very effortlessly. That's what I want to make the point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to piggyback, real quick, to piggyback off of Tamara. So for the partners on here, you're gonna love this, right? There's no hardware that needs to be installed. There's no hardware that needs to be maintained. Everything is directly on the customer's device. Basically, once they're up and running, they're off to the races, right? The only thing that you're gonna get is just like from your iPhone. Hey, you know what? I'm from the App Store. Time to update this app so that it can download automatically any refreshes or any additional stuff that we did to the app itself, and you are good to go, right? So for the channel partners that are on here, this is a perfect product to sell because once you install it, you're done. There's no headache. You don't have to worry about any devices breaking down or going out there at 10 o'clock at night to replace something because it's not working properly, right? So, this is a perfect product for you guys to push because, once everything's done, there's less headache for you. And all you guys got to do is just sit back and collect the check, right? So that's the one thing that I love about this. So once you guys adopt this, you guys will see the benefits right off the bat as well.
All right, and looks like Anita, you had a comment?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to say that the last speaker, he gave great information that he shared with everyone, because I'm sure everyone, whatever we become involved with, even whatever we buy, we want to be satisfied. And so working with the community and, in order to avoid problems and to gain that pleasant experience, I would appreciate that. And I'm sure as new customers, everyone wants to enjoy their first great experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I tell you, Anita, thank you very much for your comment. That's where we're focusing, and that is the customer success piece. And that's where Daedrin and Rochelle come into play, because we want to make sure that your first interface with our app is at the highest, and that you will not hesitate to share your experience with your sphere of influence. So absolutely, our focus is definitely catering to that customer success, that customer experience. And as Sean mentioned earlier, there's a host of features that can be added to our platform. And we just need to hear from, especially the channel partners, because you're interfacing directly with your clients and customers. We'd love to hear from you to find out what their needs are. And, if it's streamlined through, then that's a feather in your cap, because just like Ray said, you are the advisor, and, you become super women and super men to your clients.
All right. So looks like if there aren't any additional comments or questions, I think we can end it there. So thank you all for attending this MQ&A. And as mentioned earlier, we do hold these webinars bi-weekly, and we're always covering different topics, from tax-related topics to product, important developments in MQ, and more. So again, thank you for joining us today, and hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a good one, guys.
Have a good one.